Hi Homeworthy, I'm Sara. This is my home in Minnesota. I can't wait to show you guys my house. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Sara Lee, and I'm a designer, nail artist, and entrepreneur. I also am a content creator in all things DIY home design. Welcome to my house in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I've been in this house for 9 years. When I first bought it, it was your pretty standard flipped home, gray walls, white baseboards. There were no details, nothing interesting about it, but I could still see the potential in it. This house, it created who I am as a designer. I didn't have any background in like DIY or any of that stuff, but as I started doing projects and making this house into something more than just a gray house with white trim, yeah, it made me into who I am. I never really run out of inspiration when it comes to design. My mind is constantly going from just seeing different designers that I look up to even like touring historical places and buildings and things like that. There's always inspiration everywhere you go. So my career did not start in DIY or content creating. I was always a nail artist first, and I actually started my influencer journey as a nail artist. And eventually when I bought my house, I started just sharing my projects here and there, and it just kind of shifted to DIY. And then I realized one day, like, wow, I am really, really good at this. And I gained, a pretty decent following, and eventually I started getting noticed by people all over the world, and brands started noticing me. And then, now it has come to me actually designing my own collections, my home collections, my curtain collections. So I'm not just a DIYer now, I've turned into like a designer. So yeah, this whole thing, it kind of like created who I am just by sharing what I love to do. Welcome to my main living room. This is the space that we normally hang out in most of the time. I'm a huge fan of curvy, unique furniture. And so you'll see here all the pieces, they all have some kind of interest to it. A lot of the furniture in this house is actually handmade. So me and my ex-partner, Ryan, we created this daybed. It all started off with this marble piece. I found this on Facebook Marketplace, and when I bought it, I didn't actually know what I wanted to do with it. I just said, I'm gonna make something out of it. Originally, we thought maybe a table or a console table, but I was like, you know what? This would be a really cool piece as the front of some kind of chair. And I said, let's challenge ourselves and build something curvy and just make it unique. So my kids, they love to lounge around. I'm like, let's make something that they could just sit in front of the TV with, because, kids, they just love to sit right in front of TVs. So this is the perfect spot for them. This coffee table here, actually, these little marble pieces are little pedestals, decorative pedestals from Crate & Barrel, and I just bought a whole bunch of them to create a marble table. The top here is actually a Facebook Marketplace find. I'm huge on secondhand, but also upscale. I love to mix the two. I am always inspired by organic materials, so anything marble, rich wood tones, and like things like that are all right up my alley. I love anything burgundy, wood, deep greens. So when I first bought this house, none of this was here. This space was all just gray walls, white trim. There were no built-ins, no cabinetry. So I added this built-in here, and it has actually, this wall has changed so many different times, but ultimately I've always been a fan of built-ins and a lot of trim work and things like that. So we added these beautiful built-ins with custom cabinetry, even all of the trim on the walls. Everything has been done by us. You'll see, I love to collect pieces of decor whenever I go traveling. So when I go to Chicago, I love to go to CP2. That's probably one of my favorite stores. So I got this, actually it's a candle holder, but I feel like it's just beautiful even just on its own as a decor piece. And then I can just always like look at it and just remember, you know, that trip. But also these here, I got this from, actually it's from a restaurant owner in Minneapolis. Her name is Anne. She has a few restaurants and they're Laotian restaurants, but she actually has a shop where she sells all like handmade items from women in Southeast Asia. And so she gifted me these and I use them as decor. So there's actually, I think, Jenga pieces for the kids. In this one. Just like little things like that, you know, they mean a lot to me. Just, they have some kind of story to them. My curtains actually hanging in all the rooms. These are curtains that I've designed. I have a collection with 2 pages. They are a printed collection. But yeah, this house was not like this at all. All the trim work here, all the lighting, everything has been new. Even these stair railings, they were very dated. You know, you can imagine, I think it was the only thing that was like that kind of like golden oak color. So we ripped everything out and redid the railings and even the flooring in the entryway down there, and yeah, all the sconces and everything. I really wanted each space to just have a lot of detail, just make it more interesting and, you know, something different than your normal flipped house that you see every day. So actually, with my DIY content creating, I get to work with so many amazing brands, big businesses, small businesses, all over. So this table here is from DLCO Interiors. I got this custom made, this travertine table. I love travertine, marble, red marble, all of that. So I try to have a lot of my side tables or accent tables to be interesting. I got this piece here from CB2. All of my furniture is really heavy. So once I get them, they're here to stay. This is also handmade by me and Ryan. We made this piece. We based it off of Athena Calderon. She has this pedestal in her Crate and Barrel collection, and we loved that one, but I wanted to save a little bit of money. So I decided, let's just build one similar, but in a darker wood tone. And it's just become a staple piece for my travertine lamp. So yeah, I love mixing wood and marble together. I think it's just the most beautiful combination. The rugs in my space, I'm a huge rug girl. I love changing out my rugs. I think that really changes the feel of each space. So my favorite rugs right now are from Rugs USA. It's the Arvin Alano collection. You'll see them kind of spread throughout my whole house. This one here, I just love the details because of the burgundy trim around the border. It just goes perfectly and balances and kind of grounds all the other burgundy details in my house. We are coming from our living room, going into our kitchen now. This kitchen was also everything handmade by scratch. So the cabinetry and the range hood cover, the island and the bar stools, all the bar stools, everything was handmade. I think the only thing we did not make was the appliances. So these gorgeous appliances, they are stainless steel and brass. I love them. They're my dream appliances. Same thing with the range. Clearly, I'm a fan of mixed metals. So I wanted to incorporate that into the appliances, and then even just like my lighting at the top there. I just love to mix different elements together so that things don't fall flat. It just gives a like really upscale look to it. So I love stone. So I tiled this whole kitchen by myself. Like even all the details of the wainscoting on the walls here. I added elements of burgundy to say like the doorway, and these are actually my Roman shades from my collection as well. So this is in the prints floral and burgundy. I love this, and with the red, it's just so beautiful in the kitchen. I wanted the kitchen to really flow with the living space and the dining space as well, which we'll get to. I wanted pieces in here to look like pieces of furniture that you can like really sit at, just like, you know, your living space. So things that would flow color-wise and material-wise, you know, from the marble to all of the wood tones and all of that. It was important for me to just bring the same kind of elements, just in a different way, to the kitchen. I wanted this kitchen to feel almost like a cafe, like a little French cafe, where, you know, you can sit in the kitchen, kind of have it a little intimate in a way, like having breakfast with your family, you know? Like a lot of times people always gather in the kitchen and they're just at this huge island. I wanted it to just feel like cozy, intimate, just, you know, those kinds of memories, but not too formal like in a dining room. The beams in this kitchen and all of the ceiling work in this house, you'll see were not original. I wanted to add all of that in to just really make this basic flipped home into something special. My inspiration for these shelves and all these like railings and stuff like that, I just wanted a cute place to display kitchen items that didn't feel, I guess, too boring. I wanted something unique. I wanted something that has like a traditional vibe to it with the, you know, gallery rails. Yeah, and even like say, you know, the place to display my knives. I wanted this kitchen to still look like a piece of art. So I had this knife holder actually custom made by this woodworker. He did an amazing job. But yeah, I just wanted this kitchen to really feel artistic, you know, just something different than your standard. I love lighting. Lighting is like jewelry in a home. I fell in love with this McGee & Co. globe light. It's simple, but it's just enough. And anything round, like spheres, I feel like it just centers a space and creates a moment. And it creates like a space where I feel like people just kind of like can gather around. You know, I feel like sometimes the harsh lines and stuff like that, like they can feel uninviting. I love anything moody, burgundies, rich wood tones, creamy beige, you know, anything warm. I love brass, natural elements, organic elements like marble, different kinds of stones. My advice for anybody that is wanting to become an interior designer enthusiast or a DIYer is to just start, and eventually you will find your style. You will find exactly how you want to make your home. You know, a lot of people, they don't know where to start, but you find your style and you evolve in time. DIY and your home, it's always evolving, and so are you. So I love that I can look around my house and see each piece and think about the memories that were created to make that piece. So many of the pieces in my house are handmade, even the doors and the cabinetry and all the details, all the walls, the beams, that was all handmade by me and my ex-partner Ryan. And even our kids have been such a big part of creating their house. So when I look around, I just see all the memories. And So off the kitchen, we have the dining space. In this room, I wanted it to feel cozy, but like an upscale restaurant. I wanted to create a really intimate space here with a round table, a lot of wainscoting and details on the ceilings and the doors even. These doors were all handmade. This little cozy spot here, it's a space where you can hang out and have some coffee. I have this really special portrait of our dog. She passed away. Her name was Sachi. This was custom made by Motherland Company. She does like these felt 3D portraits that are so realistic. And so I wanted her to be in the dining room with us when we're eating so that our kids just feel like she's here with us. Or, you know, if they're missing her, you can sit in the dining room and just kind of remember. I love clearly anything round, curvy, between like the vase and the table and the chairs. It just creates flow. This table here, actually, it's a fun story. I saw a table like this on Facebook Marketplace. It's a vintage travertine table, and I was gonna go get it in St. Paul, but you know, Facebook Marketplace is a cutthroat world, so you have to act fast. So the original table that I wanted to buy got sold pretty quickly, and so I went on a hunt for more vintage travertine tables, and I found this one in Nebraska. The next day, packed up my stuff, drove all the way to Nebraska for this table on Mother's Day, actually. I said, you know what, this is a great Mother's Day gift. My dad actually brought me to go get it. He packed up his trailer and said, let's go. And so this piece here is so special. I'll always remember Mother's Day with my dad, grabbing my dream table for my dining room. You know, typically when you see a coffered ceiling like this, you'll see beams and then the insides are usually like white. I decided, let's do something different. Let's mix some stain and some dark paint to really give it a different feel. And I love it so much because you don't typically see it anywhere, but it just creates different dimension between the like smooth, brown, rich chocolate paint with the wood tones on the beams. This credenza here actually was also handmade. It actually started off when I made these doors, they were a lighter wood tone. Everything in this house before, when we built all of our furniture, we were very much into the lighter wood tones, but over time I have evolved with my style. And so I made this darker, and then this artwork here is actually, I painted that as well. I wanted something really simple, but still have a lot of flow. So I did this kind of like almost lime wash effect on it with just little paint splatters, and I framed it out with some like darker wood tones for the trim, and I just layered all of my favorite pieces here. So this was also a candle holder that I got on a trip. And then these are from the Athena Calderon line from Crate & Barrel. She's one of my favorite designers, and so of course I have to have some of her pieces here. This lamp here, this is another Facebook Marketplace find. This is one of my most favorite pieces. I think I got this for maybe $50, so a steal. I'm sure it costs much more in First Dibs, but yeah, I just love unique pieces in my home, and I love to be able to look around and see that all the furniture is like handmade and just custom to my liking. These curtains here are from my line with 2 pages. This specific pattern and color, it's floral and vintage linen. It's probably the most popular curtain from my line. I see it being used all over Instagram, from designers to DIYers. These are my favorite, and that's why I have them up, because every time I look at them, I can think about how proud I am that I have them in my house, but I see them all over the world being used everywhere, and they give off a very like romantic feel, gives off some pattern while not being too much, just the perfect amount of interest and detail. So From my dining room, we're going into the bathroom. I don't have the biggest bathroom, but I will say there are a lot of details in here to admire. We did this bathroom 5 days before a party. We gutted everything and decided, let's do a bathroom reno. So I tiled this whole thing and we built this vanity and redid all the plumbing and added, like this really interesting travertine sink to this space and did the sconces. Yeah, we did this bathroom in just the shortest amount of time, but with the most beautiful, interesting details. This vanity here, I wanted to build something that was perfect for my kids. Nothing too tall, because the vanity that was originally here in the house was just this taller vanity that, the kids couldn't really reach. So I wanted something that was shorter, that looks like a piece of furniture, that has the perfect amount of storage space. So, of course, built a custom piece just for that. Didn't want a traditional sink. I wanted something that also just felt like it flowed with the rest of the home. So this beautiful travertine sink here, it's just perfect. This shower curtain and the shade here is also from my collection. You're gonna see it throughout my home. Typically, people don't think that you can use curtains as a shower curtain. No, you totally can. You just gotta get a liner and put it behind it. So I love this. I did it to be a little bit higher so that it would make the bathroom look taller. And then same thing with the Roman shape. Alright, so now we are going into my son's bedroom. This space has evolved so much with his age. Now he's in that little boy stage where he loves games and he loves all of his action figures and collectibles. So I wanted to be able to display that. He loves like Funko Pops and Dragon Ball Z and things like that. And he loves his bed. His bed is his sanctuary. He loves just laying here all day. Even though he is a little boy, he has the same style as his mom. He's a mama's boy through and through. So it's so cute, him growing up in this design DIY world. He has definitely adapted his taste to what mom likes. His taste is the same as mine at this point. So even the way he dresses and stuff, he's like, well, I want to wear this because I want to match my mom, but I also want all white bedding. So, a lot of the stuff in here has been his request. Even these curtains, these are also from my line with 2 pages. These were his favorite when I was designing my collection. He was helping me design my collection and he said, well, Mom, I want this one in my room when we get them. So these are the plaid curtains in the color evergreen. He loved these ones. He said that these were just the best ones. So once I got my collection going, I had to make sure that his bedroom got this set. These walls here, I love them so much. Originally it was just like a, pretty standard board and batten wall, but I was like, let's paint it brown and kind of make it flow with the dining room and add some wood tones and stuff like that. For his TV wall, originally there was just this dresser here and I said, well, I want a place for him to be able to display all of his favorite action figures and stuff like that. We built this kind of arched built-in here and painted it and added the pole wrap here to really flow with the rest of the house. So all the browns that you see and all the wood tones, it's all the same stain and paint color. I just really wanted it to still feel like one with the house, even though it's like a kid's bedroom. And he loves this. He loves being able to switch things out and put all his best pieces here. So now we're walking into my bedroom. I wanted this room to feel just really cozy but still unique. All of the pieces in here are either handmade or vintage. My headboard, I actually made this from scratch recently. I just wanted something like that just had flow to it, I guess. Something interesting, not your standard headboard. So I created this like curvy piece, and I carried on this detail to my vanity, which also another piece that was handmade by us. It all started off with the vanity top, and I was like, well, this would be really cool as a desk. So let's just follow the curves and make a really cool makeup station for me. This shelf here, this curvy shelf, I got this on Facebook Marketplace, I think for $5. And I think it's just the coolest piece to display all of my most favorite purses. This mirror here, a lot of the mirrors that you actually see in my house that are this like fun, organic shape, they are all from Turkey, and I got them custom made by my favorite Etsy shop. I collaborate with him a lot, and he always sends me like new pieces that are just funky, and they always just go so perfectly in my house. Like, even though my house feels very like traditional with certain elements, when you add unique pieces like that, it just gives a different feel to it. This painting here, also another piece that I painted myself. I just wanted something that just had flow. So all the lines and the texture and stuff like that, it just gives a very calming effect. Kind of reminds me of like waves. The paint color in this room is actually a very warm beige. Sunlight in a house is everything. And this room, it actually faces north. So the light that you get in here is very cool. So I knew that I had to offset that and make this bedroom feel warmer with a really, really warm beige color. Like in other rooms, if I were to use this color, this paint color, it would look almost like butter yellow. But because of the sunlight, it gives off a more cooler tone to it. So it's actually from the Magnolia line. I forget the color name, but yeah, lighting is everything. You have to think about that when you're painting a room. One color in my house is not going to look the same in the next house. So swatches are always very important. And then to carry on my curvy kind of vibe, I wanted a light that just was very open and airy and unique. So I got this piece on Amazon. It's actually a kind of remake of a very popular light. You know, I like to mix high and lows. I don't always need to have the piece that is, you know, the original. I have no issue with getting something that's like a replica. So this piece is beautiful. It just gives a lot of flow. This rug here, it's a vintage Turkish rug. I love how it complements the rest of the space. And it has like a very like organic, subtle pattern. Vintage rugs are just some of my favorite pieces because, you know, you get the pattern, you get the detail, but it doesn't give off too feminine of a vibe because the pattern is just so subtle. All right, so now we're gonna be walking to our family room, but you gotta go through the entryway for that. And I wanted this space to be the first place in the house that you get a first impression. So when you walk in, you'll see red marble, you'll see travertine, all of that. You'll see a lot of wainscoting and interesting lighting. When you walk into the house, you'll know that there's something amazing to come. So wanted to carry on all of those details here. Even with the mixed wood tones, I have like the light railings along with the dark flooring and, you know, the marble and the burgundy and like even the brass touches on the stair rods. You'll get all of that detail in one. So now we are going into the family room. This space, I wanted it to really feel like the most cozy conversational space where the kids can just gather, lay down, watch some TV, play some board games, read some books, just lounge around, play games. To keep a sofa like this white with kids, for one, always have the best stain remover. So we love to use Folex It's the best ever. But also, I guess my kids have always grown up in a house where they have to respect their home. They've learned to love the space that they're living in. So they're very careful with having things on the sofa. They know that if they have drinks or food, it's on the table. I don't restrict having food anywhere in the house. You can have food wherever you want, just be careful. So the kids just know. They know whenever they have snacks and stuff, whenever they're eating hot Cheetos or whatever it is, or got some like dirty fingers, you know, they'll be on the couch, but they're just really careful, you know, and they'll just make sure to set it down on an actual table. The tables, I'm never really too worried about getting dirty because all of our tables are marble. And the thing with marble is they're durable, you know, and so that's where everything goes. The ceiling here, I wanted to carry on that dining room ceiling into the family room. When we painted the ceiling dark and did all of this trim work and the coffered ceilings and everything, it just really opened up the space and made it feel so much bigger. I wanted to have a bright white, interesting light fixture here so that it would just give interest against the dark ceiling and all the trim. You know, you'll see I mix a lot of like straight lines with pieces that have a lot of curve to them. The tree that I have here, it's a faux tree and it's from McGee & Co. I actually got this gifted to me by Shay McGee. She featured me in one of her fall catalogs, and she sent me this tree because it was one of my favorite pieces from the fall catalog, as well as this table here. This is also from her fall collection. This piece is so heavy, but definitely worth the effort to get in the house. All of my accent pieces are always like an interesting art piece, as well as the lighting. I wanted to make sure that all of the lighting in the house just feels different than what you normally would see. So I just love these because you know, you can get different cool lighting, warm lighting, white lighting. Those are also travertine. They just look like art pieces. I wanted my house to almost feel like a museum, but still very functional to each space. Every single corner is used up to be the most functional for living, between the lighting and everything, you know. Even when you play like board games, you know, and it's dark and dim in here and you have a movie going, you could still play games and, you know, just like have fun as a family, but still feel very cozy. This mirror here is also from that same Etsy shop that I was talking about, and it was made in Turkey. He has the best mirrors and the best shipping and packaging, just quality items. I love the design of this with the curves against all the lines on the ceilings and the walls. I just think it just adds so much interest when you add things that are curvy and all of that with all of the wainscoting. The rug that I have in here, it's the Melrose rug from the Arvin Alano collection with Rugs USA. My absolute favorite rug of all. I love the variation of the dark browns and the creams and the warmer beige tones. It just has so much interest. And then I layered it with my next favorite set of curtains. This is from my collection. This is the leaves pattern in the color travertine. I just love these. They give the right amount of pattern while not being too much, just interesting and unique. What creates a soul in a home? It's, of course, the people, first and foremost. The people and the memories that were created to make the home. Home means to me, it's my safe space. It's my place of peace. It's where every day I can go home and, you know, spend time with the people that I love, or just really center myself as a person and remember who I am. Yeah, my place of peace. Homeworthy, it was so nice having you here. I love showing you my home, but you guys gotta go now. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.